Welcome to our channel. And today, we are uncovering a truth that could change how you age after 70. The biggest threat to independence is not wrinkles, and it is not gray hair. It is the silent loss of strength, balance, recovery, and resilience happening inside the body right now. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you will know which 4 supplements have evidence, which ones are overhyped, and what matters most. Let me start with a question. What if the supplements most people over 70 spend money on are not the ones most likely to protect their independence? What if the real aging emergency is hiding in plain sight, inside muscle fibers, cell membranes, and energy systems that quietly weaken year after year? That is the truth this video is about, and wait for it, because the #1 supplement on this list is probably not the one you expect. Most people are taught to fear the visible signs of aging. They look in the mirror, notice thinner skin, more lines, a softer jawline, and think that is the main story. But the truth is, the body can lose strength, balance, recovery capacity, and metabolic reserve long before the mirror tells the full story. And once that hidden decline speeds up, ordinary life can start feeling harder in ways that seem to come out of nowhere. Maybe you have seen it in a parent, a neighbor, or even yourself. Getting up from a low chair starts taking effort. Carrying groceries feels heavier. A small illness knocks the body down for weeks instead of days. But here's the shocking part. That decline is not always just old age. Very often, it is a combination of muscle loss, weaker repair signaling, lower protein intake, lower activity, and a few missed nutrients that gradually push the body into frailty. And remember when I mentioned that the supplement aisle gets the story backward? This is where that matters. Because the shelves are full of flashy promises about youth, while the biology that really determines whether you stay capable after 70 is much less glamorous. It is about muscle repair, energy production, inflammation control, bone support when truly needed, and fixing common deficiencies before they steal function. Not sexy, but incredibly powerful. So today, I am not giving you a fantasy list. I am giving you a reality list. 4 supplements that have some of the strongest evidence for healthy aging after 70. Not because they make you immortal, but because they may help protect the systems that keep you walking, lifting, recovering, and living on your own. And I want you to listen all the way to the end, because the supplement I place at #1 changes everything once you understand the mechanism behind it. Let's begin with #4, and this one is important precisely because it is so misunderstood: vitamin D. You have probably heard people talk about it like it is a cure-all for aging, weakness, mood, bones, immunity, and even pain. That is where things go wrong. Vitamin D matters, especially after 70, but it only becomes powerful advice when you understand who actually benefits most and why a blanket recommendation can miss the mark. Vitamin D helps regulate calcium balance, supports bone mineralization, and plays a role in muscle function and immune signaling. After 70, the recommended daily amount is higher than in younger adults because skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight, and many older adults spend less time outdoors anyway. But the truth most channels skip is this: vitamin D is not a universal anti-aging pill. It is a targeted tool, and the difference between those two ideas is huge. Studies looking at vitamin D for falls, fractures, and muscle performance in generally healthy older adults have produced mixed results. That means you should be skeptical of anyone promising that everybody over 70 needs to swallow high doses every day forever. But here's the part that matters. If someone rarely gets sunlight, has osteoporosis, has malabsorption, has very low vitamin D levels, or is on a clinician-guided bone plan, vitamin D can be genuinely important. The supplement is not overrated because it does nothing. It is overrated because it is often prescribed in people's minds before the biology is understood. I think of vitamin D like a house key. It is extremely valuable when it fits the right lock, but useless for opening every door in the building. So if you are over 70 and you spend most of your time indoors, cover your skin for cultural or medical reasons, or have been told your levels are low, this deserves a conversation with your clinician. And please do not confuse more with better. Megadosing vitamin D casually can cause problems, especially when calcium balance gets pushed in the wrong direction. Now let's move to #3, because this is where things get much more interesting. Vitamin D is about targeted support, Omega-3 is about changing the environment inside the cell itself, and once you understand that, you will never look at fish oil labels the same way again. But here's the shocking part. The biggest benefit is not where most people think, and one of the most heavily marketed promises around omega-3 still does not hold up the way viewers are told. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA, become part of cell membranes. That may sound technical, but think of the membrane as the outer wall of every cell, the place where signals are received, inflammation is shaped, and many important decisions get made. When omega-3s are built into those membranes, they can influence inflammatory signaling molecules, blood vessel behavior, and triglyceride metabolism. In plain English, they may help the body operate in a less inflamed, less chaotic way. And this matters more after 70 than many people realize. As we age, the body often drifts toward chronic low-grade inflammation, not the helpful kind that appears after an injury and then fades, but the quiet background inflammation that stays switched on. That constant biochemical noise can wear down blood vessels, worsen insulin resistance, and make recovery slower. So when people ask why omega-3s keep showing up in healthy aging conversations, this is why. They are not magic, but they may help calm part of that internal static. The evidence is real, but it is also modest, and I want to be very honest about that. Omega-3 supplements have been shown to lower triglycerides, which is meaningful because elevated triglycerides often travel with insulin resistance and higher cardiovascular risk. Some research also suggests small benefits for certain cardiovascular outcomes. But remember when I mentioned overhyped promises? This is one of them. Omega-3 is often sold like a guaranteed shield for memory loss, and the truth is far more restrained than that marketing sounds. In generally healthy older adults, fish oil has not consistently proven itself as a dementia prevention supplement. That does not mean it is worthless. It means the honest case for omega-3 is cardiovascular and metabolic support first, not miracle brain protection. So if you use it, read the label carefully. A bottle may say 1,000 milligrams of fish oil, but the numbers that matter are the actual EPA and DHA inside it. And if you take blood thinners, have a history of atrial fibrillation, or are considering high doses, that is a conversation to have with your clinician, not with a marketing slogan. Now we reach the part of this video that matters most, because everything up to this point has been building toward one central truth. The biggest aging threat after 70 is not just a missing vitamin, it is under repair. It is the body gradually losing its ability to rebuild what daily life keeps wearing down. And once that process starts, you do not just feel weaker, you become more vulnerable to falls, illness, loss of independence, and the sudden slide so many families mistake for normal aging. There is even a name for part of this problem: anabolic resistance. That means aging muscle does not respond to protein and exercise as efficiently as it used to. In younger years, a decent meal and some activity can send a strong rebuild signal. After 70, that same signal may be too weak. It is like ringing the doorbell softly in a house where the repair crew has started losing its hearing. The crew is still there, but it takes a louder signal to get them moving. This is why two people can eat what looks like a normal diet and age very differently. One person gets enough high-quality protein, stays active, and keeps triggering repair. The other lives on toast, tea, soup, and a light dinner because appetite is lower or chewing is harder. At first, nothing dramatic happens. Then one day, stairs feel steeper, balance feels less certain, and recovery after a minor infection seems strangely slow. But here's the shocking part. Those changes may have been building for years before anyone named them. That brings us to number 2. Protein powder. I know, it does not sound exciting. It sounds like something for bodybuilders, gym selfies, and shaker bottles in locker rooms. But the truth is, protein powder may be one of the most practical, healthy aging tools after 70 because it helps solve a very common problem. Older adults often do not eat enough protein, and even when they think they do, they often do not spread it properly across the day. Protein is not just calories. It delivers amino acids, the raw materials your body uses to repair tissue, support immune function, and preserve lean mass. One amino acid, leucine, acts like a powerful trigger for muscle protein synthesis, the building process that tells the body to repair and maintain muscle. After 70, that trigger threshold becomes higher, so a tiny breakfast and a light lunch may never send a strong enough signal. That is why what looks like eating fine on paper can still leave muscle slowly underfed and underbuilt. So how do you use protein powder intelligently? You use it to fill gaps, not to replace real meals. A practical target for many older adults is around 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each main meal, though individual needs vary by size, activity, and health status. Whey is often useful because it is rich in leucine and easy to digest for many people. The three big mistakes are taking tiny servings and expecting results, choosing sugary powders with more dessert than protein, and forgetting that protein works best when the body gets a reason to keep muscle in the first place. And that reason is movement. Even simple resistance work like sit-to-stands from a chair, countertop push-ups, resistance bands, or light dumbbells can change the message your body receives. Protein says, here are the building blocks. Movement says, we still need this tissue. And when those two signals arrive together, that is when things get powerful. Remember when I mentioned that healthy aging is really about protecting capability? This is exactly what capability looks like inside the body. And now we come to number 1, the supplement most likely to surprise you, and the one many viewers did not expect to hear on a healthy aging list: creatine monohydrate. Yes, creatine. The supplement many people still associate with young athletes may actually be one of the most overlooked allies for preserving strength and function after 70. Wait for it, because the reason has very little to do with vanity and everything to do with energy. Creatine helps replenish phosphocreatine inside muscle, and phosphocreatine helps regenerate ATP, the immediate energy currency your cells use for short bursts of effort. That matters more than it sounds. Getting out of a chair, climbing stairs, catching yourself when you stumble, lifting a bag of groceries, and training with resistance all depend on brief, powerful muscle actions. If protein supplies bricks, creatine helps keep the power on at the construction site. And after 70, that energy support can make training more effective and daily movement more confident. This is where the conversation becomes exciting. Creatine is not just about adding bulk. Research in older adults shows that when creatine is paired with resistance training, it can improve strength and lean tissue more than training alone in many cases. That means it is not acting like a magic pill. It is amplifying the body's response to useful work, and that is exactly why it belongs in this video. It supports the muscle system that protects mobility, blood sugar control, metabolic reserve, and independence, not just appearance. The form that matters most is plain creatine monohydrate, not the flashy blends, not the expensive versions with futuristic names, just creatine monohydrate. For many adults, 3 to 5 grams a day is a simple maintenance approach, and consistency matters more than perfect timing. Some people like taking it after activity, others with breakfast, but the bigger issue is pairing it with resistance work 2 or 3 times a week. And if you have kidney disease or complex medical issues, clear it with your clinician before starting, because smart supplementation always beats blind enthusiasm. Let me make this real. Imagine 2 74-year-olds. One avoids strength work, skips protein at breakfast, and takes trendy pills that promise longevity. The other uses basic creatine, a protein shake when meals are light, does chair squats and resistance bands 3 times a week, and uses vitamin D and omega-3 intelligently. Guess which one is more likely to keep rising from a chair with power, recovering after illness, and staying independent longer? That is the difference between supplement theater and biological strategy. But here's the shocking part. The real hero is not any single pill on this list. It is the synergy. Protein gives muscle the raw material. Creatine supports the energy system that powers effort. Omega-3 may improve part of the inflammatory and metabolic environment. Vitamin D can matter when deficiency or bone vulnerability is part of the picture. Each one plays a different role, and when people miss that bigger picture, they waste money chasing one miraculous answer instead of building a resilient system. Before I wrap this up, I need to give one honorable mention, because for the right person, it can be a game changer. Vitamin B12. I am not placing it in the main 4 because it is not a universal performance supplement. It is a correction supplement. But after 70, B12 deficiency becomes more common, especially in people taking metformin, acid-suppressing medications, or those with absorption problems. If someone feels unusually fatigued, numb, forgetful, unsteady, or anemic, that is not the time to guess. that is the time to test. And this leads to 5 mistakes I see over and over. Mistake number 1, assuming the most advertised supplement is the most useful. Mistake number 2, taking supplements while ignoring protein and strength training. Mistake number 3, treating food as optional and pills as primary. Mistake number 4, assuming more is always better. Mistake number 5 is never matching the supplement to the actual biological problem. The best supplement after 70 is the one that fits the weakness you actually have, not the hope you were sold. So what is the smarter way to think about all of this? Start with 3 secrets. First, consistency beats novelty. A simple routine you follow for months will do more than a cabinet full of exciting products you forget to take. Second, distribution matters. A stronger protein intake spread across breakfast, lunch, and dinner can be more useful for aging muscle than one huge protein-heavy dinner at the end of the day. Third, the body listens best when supplements and movement tell the same story. Remember when I mentioned that the supplement aisle sells the fantasy of youth instead of the biology of capability? This is the callback I want you to hold on to. Capability is built in ordinary moments. It is built when breakfast contains enough protein to signal repair. It is built when you stand up from a chair 10 extra times because you know muscle listens to demand. It is built when you choose 1 or 2 evidence-based tools instead of 10 exciting distractions. That is how strong aging happens, quietly, repeatedly, and often without anyone applauding you at the time. So let's bring it all together. Number 4, vitamin D, useful when deficiency risk, bone vulnerability, or low sunlight exposure makes it relevant. Number 3, omega-3, a support tool for triglycerides, cardiovascular health, and a healthier cellular environment, though not a guaranteed brain shield. Number 2, protein powder, one of the best ways to help aging muscle reach the threshold it needs for repair. And number 1, creatine monohydrate, the overlooked supplement that may help older adults train better, stay stronger, and preserve the physical reserve that makes independent living possible. After 70, healthy aging is not about winning a contest against time. It is about protecting reserve, protecting the ability to get up off the floor if you have to, protecting the strength to carry your groceries, the balance to move without fear, and the recovery to keep a bad week from becoming a bad year. That is why this topic matters so much. When people understand the biology, they stop shopping for fantasy and start building resilience. And resilience is what keeps life open. So I want to ask you something. Which of these 4 surprised you the most? Was it vitamin D because of the nuance, omega-3 because of the limits, protein because of how powerful it can be, or creatine because you never imagined it belonged in an after 70 conversation? Tell me in the comments. And if you know someone in their 70s or 80s who wants to stay strong, steady, and independent, share this video with them. I am Dr. Leana. Like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.